Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including Tesla partnering with a slew of EV makers, a new Cybertruck rumor, Smart Shift coming to all Teslas, the Semi finally shipping, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, one big feature of the new Model S and X comes with its stockless design. You shift gears on screen, but the real method for shifting out of park is an automatic feature from Tesla. Quote, the vehicle uses its autopilot sensors to intelligently and automatically determine intended drive modes and select them. For example, if the front of Model S/X is facing a garage wall, it will detect this and automatically shift to reverse once the driver presses the brake pedal. This eliminates one more step for the drivers of the world's most intelligent production cars. Many thought that it would still use a smart shifting feature like this when doing a 3-point turn, but it does not do that at this point. The notes on screen when in a refreshed Model S say, quote, auto shift out of park will only shift gears when transitioning out of park. This is still a great feature, and when I used it, it was very intuitive. You press the brake and it clearly shows you which direction it will be going once you press the pedal. If it guessed wrong, you correct it on screen. I just quoted Tesla talking about how this technology works, and it's clear that it uses the autopilot cameras and sensors included on any Tesla. There is no hardware exclusive to the Model S or X to make this feature possible, so it should be able to make its way to the Model 3 and Y if Tesla wants to enable it. Well, according to Elon Musk, it will be coming. He said, quote, you don't even need to touch the shifter in new S. Auto detect direction will come as an optional setting to all cars with FSD. For now, the shifter is actually more required than Elon said in this tweet. If you need to shift into reverse and you aren't parked, it can't do that for you, and you need to shift on screen. So if they brought this feature to the Model 3 and Y, it wouldn't replace the stocks, unless they added a shifter to the screen like they have done with the Model S and X, but Elon didn't mention that. It seems that in the near future, those cars will keep stocks, but the option for auto shift out of park will be an added feature to the full self-driving package. That package is $10,000 or $200 per month as a subscription, so this feature definitely makes sense to add. It's easy enough for them to implement, falls into that category, and would be optional. Regarding the full self-driving package, Tesla just recently added the subscription package option. I think this option will be great for many owners who don't need the package full-time or plan to upgrade their vehicle frequently. The one downside is that it locks you into paying whatever price the subscription raises to over time. However, this would also happen anyway if Tesla raises the $10,000 package price and you need to upgrade to a new car. Part of what Tesla offered with older vehicles that didn't come with their current full self-driving computers is a free upgrade with the purchase of the full $10,000 package. An older Model 3 with hardware 2.5 would get this upgrade, but the question was, what would Tesla do with an older Model 3 if someone signs up for the subscription once it comes and now it's here? Would Tesla require them to sign up for a year of the subscription or make them pay a fee to get this computer upgrade? Initially, a few days ago, Tesla was charging owners $1,500 for this computer upgrade if they subscribe. Many took issue with this since Tesla has said since 2016 that, quote, all Tesla cars being produced now have full self-driving hardware. It turns out that they had most of the hardware but ended up needing a computer upgrade, and with a $10,000 price tag for FSD, it makes sense that they would include this computer. Now that someone could subscribe for 1 month and then cancel, Tesla is charging for that computer. I personally think this actually makes some sense and prevents customers from subscribing for 1 month, getting the computer upgrade, canceling to never use FSD again, but getting a better trade-in value with that computer or something else. However, after a few days, Tesla has already dropped that price, and many think it's due to criticism. It now costs $1,000 for that computer upgrade. I think the better solution would be to not charge for this computer but require a year subscription or some amount of months to ensure that you aren't just taking advantage of it, but it's definitely a tricky situation. Not all customers need this upgrade, and Tesla told customers that their vehicles had all the necessary hardware to achieve it back in 2016. Now that they have a new way to pay, owners are finding that their cars don't actually have the necessary hardware. But what are your thoughts on this situation? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Next up, one of the biggest advantages of buying a Tesla is access to their Supercharger network, which is growing every day. They have you covered on most routes with chargers in necessary locations that can charge up to 200 miles in 15 minutes. It's an incredibly easy experience, and their vast network of chargers truly takes the range anxiety out of owning an electric car. Recently, Elon unveiled that they will be upgrading their 250 kilowatt peak charging speeds, already far better than most available, to 300 kilowatts. This means that 200 miles in 15 minutes that I mentioned earlier could get even faster or more realistic for any Tesla. When you buy a Tesla, you get access to over 25,000 chargers at over 2,700 locations, and it's one of the big sells of their vehicles. The integration is incredibly easy with no card to swipe or anything. You plug in and Tesla automatically charges the card in your account linked with your car. For a while, the question has been whether or not Tesla will open up this network. It's a great feature to sell with this car and a huge reason I decided to purchase a Tesla, so it may not be the smartest business move for them to remove this big draw for their cars. However, they could gain extra revenue from the charging, and their mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. If they keep their charging network to themselves, they aren't exactly helping that transition, aside from their own vehicles, which they can only make and sell so many of. Well, Elon Musk has now officially confirmed that Tesla will be opening up their Supercharger network to other electric vehicles later this year. When talking about their proprietary connector, he said, quote, "We created our own connector as there was no standard back then, and Tesla was the only maker of long-range electric cars. It's one fairly slim connector for both low and high power charging. That said, we're making our Supercharger network open to other EVs later this year. Over time, all countries. You can't just buy a converter and charge up at a supercharger, no problem. So this means that Tesla will be working and partnering with every other EV manufacturer that wants to take part in this. It would be a huge loss for any company to not take full advantage of this if Tesla fully offers it, so it should lead to a lot of partnering between established automakers and Tesla. Now, I actually think this will be the first time that people, at least Tesla owners, hope that Elon is late on a deadline. With Tesla selling more and more cars each quarter, superchargers are already getting more and more full. On holiday weekends, lines can get long, which points to the need to build up many more chargers as they sell more cars. According to Elon Musk, massive increase in supercharger network is underway. Hopefully he's right there because Tesla needs this as is. They sold 200,000 vehicles last quarter and should be opening up 2 entirely new factories soon. Not to mention the Cybertruck, which has over 1.2 million orders. Then it sounds like they will be adding the option for other electric vehicles to use their chargers. They'll likely need to sell a few different adapters, and then any customer buying a Ford Mustang Mach-E, Chevy Bolt, Hyundai Kona, Hyundai Ioniq 5, Audi e-tron, Porsche Taycan, and many, many more will be able to charge at Tesla Superchargers as well. This will add tons of congestion to chargers, and I think Tesla owners are justified in being concerned. I of course support this move, but I hope Tesla understands what they are opening up and the immense need they'll have to keep building up many more chargers. In the coming years, they'll be selling millions of cars, and other automakers will be bringing out more and more compelling EVs, switching over the entire industry. Other charging networks will build up at the same time, but none yet have the seamless integration of the Supercharger network, and I hope they're able to maintain that in the process. We'll see how long it takes for Tesla to open this up and how they plan to implement it. Maybe you'll need to make a Tesla account and buy a converter, or maybe other automakers will decide to support it and set that up for you at purchase. It's a big move for Tesla that is coming later this year, according to Elon Musk, so I'm still guessing that it won't actually come until next year. We'll wait and see which countries open up first. Next up, a small rumor about the Cybertruck. We've seen Tesla making progress over at Giga, Texas, and that factory is ultimately being constructed to build the Cybertruck. In the meantime, though, Tesla is planning a production line for what they expect to be their most popular vehicle, the Model Y. Based on the last update given from Tesla, the Model Y line at Giga, Texas is under construction, and the Cybertruck line is in development. It has been understood that the Model Y will come first, hopefully with 4680 battery cells, and then the Cybertruck will come after, probably next year at this point. Well, a new rumor says that the Cybertruck could be the first to go into production at Giga, Texas, and it will feature Tesla's new 4680 battery cells and structural battery pack. The rumor comes from Troy Teslike, who said, "I have heard that Tesla is planning to start production at Giga, Texas with Cybertruck, not Model Y." Also, Cybertruck will have 4680 cells and a structural battery pack, which will be built in Texas too. Since this is a tweet without sources, I won't spend too much time on it, but I've heard some interesting speculation around it. Tesla is building Giga Texas and Giga Berlin at the same time. Giga Berlin has seen a number of delays due to bureaucracy and environmental concerns, so many feel that Tesla wants to ramp both production lines at the same time. Both will be making the new next-generation Model Y with 4680 battery cells and using new factory technology from Tesla. If Berlin is delayed, then they'd rather build up the Cybertruck line, get that going, and then bring the Model Y online at both factories simultaneously when Berlin is ready. That's just some speculation based on rumors, but it could make sense going forward. We recently saw that Tesla began shipping the Model Y from China to most of Europe, and this is a change to their original plan of shipping them there once Giga Berlin was producing. It seems that the Berlin delays are throwing a bit of a wrench in plans, but the 4680 ramping could also be playing a part in that. We'll see what happens, but I think that most would be excited to see the Cybertruck sooner rather than later. I know I would, and I'll be sure to keep you posted on that. Next up, the Tesla Semi is reportedly about to start production, and that is huge for Tesla. The Semi was announced all the way back in 2017 with a production date of 2019. It gets a range of 300 or 500 miles, uses 4 independent motors, uses less than 2 kilowatt hours per mile, and comes in at 150 to 180,000 depending. Tesla has taken reservations from a few companies wanting to electrify their fleets, and the cost savings this Semi should bring will be immense for those able to utilize it at this point. The Semi has seen a number of delays. Surely many of them are due to various product issues to work through that Tesla is used to, but the biggest issue, according to Elon Musk, has been that, quote, "We simply don't have enough cells built. If we were to make the Semi right now, and we could easily go into production with the Semi, but we would not have enough cells built for it right now." The Semi will use lots of cells to achieve its range under such heavy loads, and every cell they use takes away from their vehicle production, which at this point is the bread and butter of Tesla. In March, we heard that Tesla was building up their production line at Giga, Nevada, which would ultimately produce 5 Semis per week. Then once production gets going, they can hit full volume production at Giga, Texas. Now, according to sources speaking with Electrek, the Semi drive axle production line is ready, and the general assembly line is going through final debugging before production begins. This is big for Tesla and for electrification as a whole. If they are able to deliver the specs and similar pricing that they unveiled at the announcement event, it will be a big move for the trucking industry. Not everyone will be able to switch over immediately, but it's the first step in the right direction. PepsiCo is expecting to receive 15 Tesla Semis by the end of the year, so they would be among the first to utilize them. They will be able to build up their own charging infrastructure, but long-term, Tesla will need to and is planning to build up mega chargers for the Semi. This will help out on long routes just like the Supercharger network does, and should be far cheaper than diesel. If you want to see a deep dive into the Tesla Semi and just how important it could be, you can check out my full video linked in the description below. Next up, a small update about full self-driving and Smart Summon. Smart Summon is a feature included in the full self-driving package that Tesla describes as, quote, "Your car will navigate more complex environments and parking spaces, maneuvering around objects as necessary to come find you in a parking lot." In practice, it's mostly just a fun trick, and it's not that useful besides some specific cases. Back in 2016, Elon said, in around 2 years, Summon should work anywhere connected by land and not blocked by borders. For example, you're in LA and the car is in New York. Then in 2019, he said, "New Tesla Summon will blow your mind." Neither of those really came true, but his latest update is specifically talking about the latest FSD work that they're doing. He said, quote, "Current Summon is sometimes useful, but mostly just a fun trick. Once we move Summon plus highway driving to a single FSD stack, it will be sublime." It feels like everything with full self-driving is having progress, and Tesla is seeing real improvements with the latest Tesla Vision Beta 9. With the single stack he mentioned in that tweet, he's referring to one vision code that works in all situations. The latest is that once version 11 arrives, it should have this single stack and come out to all customers. We'll see what happens with these timelines, but I'm always hoping for the best with this technology. Next up, a very interesting story that could be affecting Tesla in the future. The Indiana Department of Transport recently announced their plans to build a new wireless charging system on a highway. They are taking a quarter-mile stretch of road and fitting it with wireless charging technology embedded into the pavement. They are working with a company called Magment to test this out, and their coils are embedded in slabs of magnetized cement. Then vehicles that want to charge from the system need to have a coil-fitted system on the base of their car. This would allow transfer of energy from the ground coil to the onboard coil whenever the vehicle is over the coil. It can be stationary or be driving. The long-term idea is to install these wireless charging options in parking spaces, but also on freeways to allow people to charge their cars on the road. It's a much more advanced system than a charging network, and it will surely take years to come to fruition, but it's very intriguing. It's a technology that would make it so that you never need to fill up with fuel. Instead, you know that there are charging stretches of road that have you covered. Long term and in practice, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up getting developed, but only ends up being cost effective for charging stations and parking spots. And it could very well help out with Tesla's dreams of a robotaxi network if that truly comes. Long term, however, if the cost could come down, being able to charge up while driving sounds pretty insane. That would require tons of development from Magment as well as all of the cars receiving the charge, since they will need to be able to charge while in operation and have the coils to receive the charge installed in the car. Tesla is often the first to move to a new technology, so while they're focused on their supercharger network, if this proves useful, it could be something they work on long term. Norway and Sweden have already run trials on wireless charging roads using copper coil technology from Electro-Eon. So this isn't the first time this has been done. It's the first time it is being done in the US, however, and Purdue University will be working with the research. It sounds frightening to have magnetic cement charging our cars while we drive, but it could be one of those things that seems impossible and crazy now and feels normal in 50 to 100 years. I'll be sure to keep you posted on the latest developments in that regard. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest about the Cybertruck, you can check out that video linked over here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.